I came to Guruji in 97. After a lot of resistance, a friend of mine had brought me to Guruji. It was September and it was Thursday evening, 6 o'clock. And Guruji was sitting on his gaddi on his own. So when I was getting married in 88, my mother had warned me that तेरी शादी इंडिया में हो रही है, तो तू ये गुरु के चक्कर में मत पड़ना. So I was conditioned in that way not to believe in gurus and pandits and Babaji. So I was very resistant and I was a total non-believer. But in 97 में, I developed a skin ailment which was very grave in nature, very serious. And also since I moved to India in 88, after having been born and raised in England, I developed very chronic asthma. And though I was born with asthma, but the changing season in India, in Delhi, with the pollution and the changing season, had precipitated it. So it would get triggered off, which would send me to the ICU, and I would be on steroid injections and subsequently steroid tablets for weeks and sometimes months on end. So you can imagine the quality of life had totally deteriorated. So in 97, I had my worst attack in March, again the changing season, where both the doctors in the nursing home had looked at me while they were administering steroid injections, and they felt it was a very hopeless case. So they exchanged a look that said that I don't think she will survive this attack. So through some miracle, because I had to come to Guruji, I guess, through some miracle, I survived the attack. And then in September, when I was compelled to come to Guruji with a friend who was a staunch believer of Guruji, I simply felt that I had been a lost child who found its mother. I really felt at home at the first sight. And you can say it was love at first sight on meeting Guruji or faith at first sight, but I truly felt at home. The truth has its gravity, and there was no denying that Guruji, कोई ऐसे वैसे Guru, Pandit or Babaji नहीं थे. He was, even now we cannot measure him in words. अभी भी अगर हम क्वांटिफाई करने की कोशिश करें या समझने की कोशिश करें कि गुरुजी कौन थे, तो I think words will fail us. But ये faith जो होता है anyway comes from the heart and not from the mind. Where faith begins, logic has to end. So this is what happened with me. My logical mind stopped working, and my heart simply felt the love, felt his compassion, and it was totally assimilated in his grace. So Guruji ने सिर्फ इतना ही बोला था कि तू रोज आया कर. On meeting me at first sight, he said तू रोज आना है. This was his हुक्म. रोज आना के मतलब उन दिनों में एम्पायर स्टेट में वो 7 दिन बैठते थे गुरुजी, और 7 दिन लंगर लगता था. So I used to come, and he knew I was in a very difficult situation with my health and with my relationship, my personal relationship, my matrimonial marital situation was very, very serious too. So he said to रोज आना, क्योंकि यहाँ जो शब्द होता है, सत्संग होता है, लंगर होता है, and जो मेरे पास बैठना होता है, वो सब everything has healing powers. So collectively I was getting healed by these 4 elements put together. And ये समझना बहुत मुश्किल है, because I remember I was having another asthma attack, and this happened while I was sitting there in the sangat, and he said, "Tu langar kha." I said, "Guruji, I need my hospital right now. I need my oxygen. I need steroids, and I need to leave." And while I was choking on my own words, I was totally suffocating, and I said, "Guruji, I can't sit here." He said, "Nahi, tu langar khana hai." Now it was very hard to fathom for me that, Guruji, who was meant to be so compassionate, could not understand that I can't breathe. I was really suffocating, and I was gasping for breath. and I needed only steroids at that point, steroid injections. And he said, langar steroid hai. And ye chapati nahi hai, dal nahi hai, ye oxygen hai tera. Ye tu kha. And you samajh nahi the nahi hai, but kha le tu. So with one langar, of course I was arguing with him telepathically, say, what kind of guru are you? You do not understand my misery. And how can you ask me to eat? Asthmatics will understand that you cannot drink water at the time of attack, so let alone eating food. But anyway, forcefully I consumed whatever I could, and he said, Ja Ram sir, Kaja ke Ram na so, which was totally unbelievable to my ears. I just felt, how could I possibly sleep restfully? I know I'll go home, and then after maybe a while, I will end up in the hospital, in the ICU, as customarily I would do. And, but, of course, such were his ways. I slept blissfully. I thought it was a coincidence. Subsequent changing seasons came and went, and my asthma was totally gone. So that was October 97. And then a few months went by, and Guruji has said कि तू श्रद्धा में पास होगी. He calls me from the satsang service, and he said, मैं तेनों नींबू की तरह निचोड़िया, तू श्रद्धा पास होगी. Down I made shakal देखिया. Guruji knew that I would avoid my inspection because from top to toe I was covered in blood, and my face was inflamed as well as deformed. So I would say to Guruji, Guruji, मैं आपको कैसे पता कि मैं अपनी शक्ल नहीं दिखती हूँ आईने में? He said, मैं गुरु में सब पता होता है. Now Guruji is and was at that point, and always will be, he is omnipresent. And he is so omnipresent that he proved it to me time and again. This was just one time, but there were many subsequent occasions when he would relate something, some conversation I've had at home, or some incident at home, and he would relate it to me on meeting him. He said, "Mainu sab pata hai. Tera skin cancer theek pata hai." Now, had he told me I have skin cancer months before, I would not have survived it, because it was a very daunting thought. I knew that it was not eczema. I knew it was not psoriasis. It was very ugly, and my skin was very unsightly, which made me look very unsightly, and it would make people avert their eyes on looking at me. And if I tried to eat something, my skin would crack. And then he would say, "Tu skin cancer theek hai, biopsy kara le bishar." Biopsy was confirmed, but by that time it already blessed me. So my skin miraculously, from red turned to pink, and from pink it became totally normal, with no blood, no inflammation, within weeks of him blessing me. So that was the second miracle. And then of course he used to say, and he used to emphasize the fact, कि एक बारी तुसी इत्थे आ जाओ और नाम दे नाल जुड़ जाओ. तो फिर अस्थमा की, कैंसर की, hole in the heart की, eczema की. I was born with hole in the heart and eczema, but that also Guruji took care of. Now my skin is as clear as day. There's no blemishes. There's no inflammation. With his grace, in fact, my skin is better than it ever has been, and even before I had this skin ailment. And he's truly given me a new skin. He's given me a true life, and a new life. And he said to me after he healed me of skin cancer, "It to December 97 with Marjandi." Now this claim corresponded with an astrologist in the same year. Guruji के आने से पहले मैं एक astrology के पास गई थी, and उन्होंने भी जब horoscope पढ़ा मेरा with my date and time of birth, he said कि तुम्हारी तो कोई life नहीं है December 97 के बाद. And Guruji had related the same. So वो तो सचमुच अंतर्यामी है, वो सब कुछ जानते हैं. He's omniscient, omnipresent, he's omnipotent. He's everything. And from being a total non-believer to becoming a believer is also his grace. In becoming an absolute believer, I am convinced today, after 14 years of coming to him, that, and maybe many lifetimes before the search was on, and now the search is over because I have met maybe what my soul was looking for many, many lifetimes. I feel that Guruji has truly He truly drives the vehicle of my life. He is my driving force. He is the wind beneath my wings in the true sense. And as he used to say in his words, to surrender kar do kabhi. And to surrender, you cannot possibly use your rationale. You cannot use your logical mind. आपको सिर्फ मानना है. He used to say, मांगो नहीं मानो. तो मांगो नहीं क्यों? क्योंकि आपको पता नहीं आपके लिए क्या अच्छा या क्या बुरा है. हम मांग लेते हैं छोटी छोटी material चीजें जो everyday चाहिए होती हैं. Whether it's a car, whether it's a job, whether it's a school admission, the list is truly endless. पर हमें ये नहीं पता कि असली चीज क्या है और हमारे लिए क्या अच्छा है. वो तो वैसे ही मिल जाना है. When one member of the family starts coming to Guruji, the entire family, I would say the entire neighborhood, people you come in contact with, they all get blessed. And you get what you need. So he protects your children, he protects you, he protects your spouse. Sab kuch gets aligned. Basically, I believe in my thinking and in my understanding, I believe that your life gets aligned, and jo hame 5 saal, 10 saal pehle bhi, the desire we had in our hearts, and we would hope that it would get fulfilled, somehow through a deep understanding or deeper understanding and through spirituality, we realize, oh thank God that prayer was not answered, because aaj mujhe jo nahi mila, main bahut khush hu, because I didn't need it. There's a very fine line between need and want. The wants to hang endless. There's no, we can't quantify our wants. But needs, he knows what's good for our soul, what's good for our life, what's good for this janam, this lifetime, as well as the subsequent lifetimes. And therefore, it's a journey. It's a journey which gets facilitated with Guruji's grace, with his unmeasured blessings, because the blessings do become unmeasured when you become aware that Guruji is the one who is there holding your hand and carrying you through. And on the subject of karma, he used to say, karma se cut nahi hai tusi, you have to go through your karma. Ye karma hai, skin cancer, asthma, maybe deep relationship karma, maybe financial karma. The 3 reasons why people actually initially start coming to Guruji. It's always some kind of karma which is stuck, or which is very deep, and we feel trapped in our situation. It could be that we're not progressing